Okay.
Yeah.
Are you good to start? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I just have to start by saying this is like such a full circle for me. I don't know if Marilyn told you, but you're like the first ever artist that I was a super fan of. When you
Oh,
were when you were on The Voice, I like had a fan page for you. I would make graphics for you to like get people to vote for you. I was like
oh,
so devastated that you lost, but you were like the first ever like singing competition show like that I was just like a super fan of. Um,
oh, thank
this is
you.
just very full circle. But I just wanted to ask, like, in what ways would you say you've grown over the past decade?
Ooh, um, I think I've definitely learned to believe in myself a bit more.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a continuous work in progress, but I think that, when I was still trying to figure out my way in terms of my artistry and where I fit in the music world, um, I had insecurities just like we all do.
Mhm.
And, I think that over time, I've just learned to trust myself a bit better, to trust my instincts a bit more. Um, and I would say that that's probably had like the biggest impact on, the way that I express myself creatively and live on stage and how I interact with other musicians and the way that I write music. So yeah, that's probably what I would
I
say.
love it. Well, you're about to release a brand new EP from here, which releases November
Yeah.
10th. I legitimately think this is my favorite body of work from you. I'm seriously adding like every single track to my playlist. How would
Oh,
you
thank
describe,
you.
no problem. How would you describe the atmosphere and overall vibe of the project?
Well, I would say it's definitely different from the first album that I released, my debut album. That was a bit more sort of like rock and roll with like more folk influences. I was
Mhm.
listening to like a lot of early Sheryl Crow and like Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell when I wrote
Love
that
that.
album. And I think also because I grew up in church and grew up in the gospel world, or a contemporary Christian world, that was a lot of the music that I would listen to growing up. Here and there, like I would listen to artists like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston and all of that stuff, because that's what like all of my peers were listening to at the
Yeah.
time. So I'd hear stuff at school, but I didn't really get to start exploring different genres of music until I was an adult. And so I think that my music kind of reflects the type of music that I am listening to in terms of like what it sounds like. And so this project I think is more so a combination of all of my favorite genres of music. So there's a
Mhm.
little bit of rock and roll in there, there's a little bit of pop in there. I would say if I had to categorize it, it's more of like an alternative pop project. But but yeah, that is kind of like where I am sonically. That's like where my headspace is, and that's where some of my like ideas tend to head in terms of the way that it sounds. Does that
All
make
pop is
sense?
like,
I don't know. I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
that was a long answer.
No, all pop is like my favorite genre, so this totally makes sense why I love it so much. The most recent song you've released is fittingly titled "Amazing," which I just want to like shout at the top of my lungs while the car windows are rolled down. It's like that kind of song. It feels very anthemic almost. I just love
Yeah.
it so much. So, what would you say the song is about, and what does it personally mean to you?
So that song, thank you so much, by the way. That song is, oh, something just popped up on my screen. All right, I'm gonna ignore it. That song I wrote once I moved to Los Angeles. I was living in New York. I lived in New York for my entire life before moving here. And that song was kind of about being afraid to leave your hometown, but taking that leap of faith and just trusting that this is the direction that I needed to head in. And so I just like packed up all my stuff and moved. And it's kind of a song that's about saying goodbye to everything that you knew in your hometown and all your friends and your loved ones. At the time I was also saying goodbye to an ex-partner of mine
Mm.
that I've been with for a long time. and just saying hello to new possibilities and saying hello to a new location and the potential of like new experiences and a new life. And so when I wrote that song, I had been living in LA for God, I want to say 2 or 3 months, maybe not even like 2 months, maybe.
Mm.
And I was just like, it's like sunny and everyone's like fit. And it's just like, I know this is going to be a place that holds so much potential for me. And so I was just feeling very like, very sad about leaving, but also very happy about, all the possibilities of a new place. So that's what that song is about.
It came just at the right time because I just went to LA this week. I
Amazing.
have 1 semester of college left, and then I plan on moving there. So it's just thank you. It's just so
Congratulations.
fitting. I was like, this song is like exactly what this week has been. Me going to
Oh,
like see what
yay.
it's like for the first time. But I feel like this whole interview is just gonna be me fangirling. But 2 songs that I love from the new EP. I've listened to it like 10 times now. I love Can't Let You Go and Nervous. I think those two are my favorites. So good. But I wanted to ask, as a whole, what does the songwriting process look like for you? And when do you kind of get the initial feeling that a song belongs on a project?
So for me, in this case, I was collaborating with a number of different songwriters, and I knew that I wanted to get out all of the stuff that I was feeling. So it's kind of a bit of like a breakup EP, and
Mhm.
it's so funny because I'm not in that space at all anymore when I wrote it. And it was supposed to come out like in 2020, but obviously we know what happened there.
Of course.
Um, so it is a bit of like a breakup EP. And so that's kind of where my head was at the time. I just wanted to like express myself and get out all of like the sadness and all of the shit that I was feeling that you often feel at the end of a breakup, essentially. Um, and yeah, I would say that like that is kind of where I was. And so all of the songs that I wrote and all of the people that I collaborated with, I kind of had a very clear idea for the most part that that's what I wanted to write about, or at least in that area. And then the different songwriters that, I got into a room with, it sort of just evolved from that space. But like Can't Let You Go is actually a song. So for the very first time when I moved to LA, I started like dreaming melodies, and it hasn't
Mm.
happened to me since then. But when I first moved to LA, I was doing like I was meditating for like an hour every day, and I was on it. And I dreamt a melody, and I woke up and I grabbed my phone and I recorded part of the idea, which is a why
Mm.
let me go. And so I recorded it. And then when I got into the studio with my boy G, we I played it for him, and he was like, "Oh, I actually really like that. Like let's work from there." And so that was a very unique song in that I dreamt it.
Ooh. It
It
makes it so
sounds crazy
magical.
to say it, crazy to say it, and also like a little cheesy. It's like I dreamt that melody, and yeah, that's the kind of artist that I am.
You
But
should say it. It makes
it's
it seem way
true.
more cool.
It's true. I really did dream it, and then obviously, evolved from that place. But that song was about thinking about this person and constantly dreaming about them, and sort of almost second guessing the decision that I had made to leave. Like, oh shit, like, did I make the right decision? I'm thinking about this person all the time, and also reflecting on the fact that like, why were we together so long? Why didn't you fight for me a bit more? Like, why? And so that song is about that. And then opposing that, Nervous is about um falling in love for the first time and meeting somebody that you really are into for the first time. And that's actually the last song that I wrote from the EP, because that song and Amazing are the two last songs that I wrote, and they have a bit more promise.
Mm, more joy.
Yeah, they have a bit more joy.
Oh my gosh. And then your debut album, Dirty Water. My two favorite songs on there are the title track and Some Things. I would play those like on a loop when it first came out, like during my sad girl phase. Like Sad Girl
Oh.
Autumn, my emo phase, like they hit so hard. So I wanted to ask with Dirty Water, what is like a favorite memory you have from recording that album?
Oh God. It was a tough one because there were so many sad songs on that album.
Yeah.
I actually wrote that album while I was on the road with Adele for the last tour that she did.
Mm,
And so it's so funny because I was on this incredible tour and I was traveling and doing all of these wonderful things. And I found that I was actually a bit sad and a bit depressed. And there were a number of things that were influencing those feelings at the time. But I would say that the song that I am most proud of and most fond of from that album, that's tough. I would say it's The Wild. And I would
mm,
say that it's The Wild because it's a song that's about breaking up with someone and that person kind of doing you dirty. But then in turn, you know that they're going to be thinking about you all the time, that they're going to be regretting some of the shit that they said and that they did, and
yeah.
kind of like reveling in that feeling. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm gone, but I'm going to be on your mind.
Not fully gone, never fully gone.
Exactly. And it's so funny because I actually wrote that song with my ex-boyfriend, but I love it musically, and I love, what it represents energetically and lyrically. And so that's one of my favorite songs. But yeah, there's so many sad songs on there. Oof.
I know. I love it though. It hits during a certain like mood.
You. Thank you.
So I had no idea that I would be meeting Adele this week.
I
When
saw
I
that.
Yeah, like I set this interview up with you, and then like 2 days later, my team was like, "Hey, do you want to fly out to LA? Adele just invited us." So like very coincidental. I'm wearing the hat right now, but I just wanted to ask, what has it been like, being a backing vocalist for Adele, and what can you tell fans about what to expect from the upcoming Las Vegas residency?
Well, in terms of being a background singer for her, it's been a joy. She's just so down to earth and she's so genuinely herself all the time. So it's a pleasure working for somebody who is just like chilled, you know what I mean? And just
Yeah,
like themselves. I'm sure you saw, when you were here and that night where you saw, the preview of the music video, she is just very much herself and very personable, and I think that people find that endearing when people are just themselves, especially coming from an artist like her, and she's worldwide, superstar. So I, love that about her, and that just makes it a joy to work for her. And then she's also amazing. Like she's an incredible vocalist, an insane songwriter. She's so gifted, and so it's inspiring. I find moments that singing behind her and just seeing how she interacts with audiences, and I find a lot of inspiration in watching and working with her. Um, and then I can't really say too much about the Vegas residency, but I will say that like you're in store for a wonderful experience and a beautiful show, and it's gonna be memorable. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
I that's good enough. That's good enough. I
Come
also
and
wanted to
see
ask,
us.
yes, for sure. I also wanted to ask, like, do you have a favorite song that you enjoy performing with her the most? Like, is there like a favorite one for you?
Um, yes, it's so funny because I did a live and some of the people on the live were also Adele fans and they were like, "What are your favorite songs?" And I kind of just like panicked because I didn't have a second to think about it. And I was like, this one and this one. But now that I've had time to think about it, I would say that um she's got so many great songs. She's an incredible songwriter. Someone Like You is a song that for me, I really, really enjoy watching her perform because I don't sing on that song. So that's actually one of the few songs where I'm able to kind of just like sit back and really enjoy her performance and really take in like all of the lyrics and the music and her voice. And so that is a favorite of mine. I know it's like one of the biggest songs, but it's a big song for a reason because it's fucking
Yeah.
badass. Um, I really like God, I like Take It All. That's a good song.
Yes. So
I
good.
like Oh My God off of the new record. I love that song. It's just so much
That's a
fun.
bop.
It's a bop, right? And then what else do I like? I like her version of I like her live version of Don't You Remember. Every time,
Mm.
that's another song that I don't sing on, so I get to like sort of sit back and enjoy the performance. I'm trying to think what other song. I mean, she's got those are like the first three that come to
So many good
mind.
ones. I was saying too, you've been a backing vocalist for so many other artists like Stevie Wonder, Alicia Keys, Tori Kelly, Cynthia Erivo, etc. Who are some artists that are currently inspiring you right now? And is there anyone you'd love to collaborate with or work with in the future?
Oh, I mean, I would love to collaborate with all of them. I feel like that would be
Mhm.
great. I am inspired by all of them also for different reasons. I think that when you work behind people, artists and creatives like that who are incredibly successful, you pick up different things that they do that you're just like, like that's so smart. Like that makes sense that you would do that. Or, I'm inspired by the way that they interact with an audience or their work ethic or so. I've been inspired by all of the artists that I've worked with for different reasons. Um, I would say that in terms of like collaboration, the first people that come to mind, I would love to collaborate with Brandon Flowers. I think
Uh,
that he's an incredible songwriter, and I think that he's original and he's not predictable, like in terms of his writing, like he always has something in there that is unexpected. In addition to him being, a great lyricist and obviously a great performer and vocalist and musician. I would love to collaborate with Adele, obviously.
of course, of course.
And and who else would I love to work with? I would love to write with Alicia Keys, actually.
Mm.
I think that would be a lot of fun. And I think that we would come up with something really cool and interesting musically. But yeah, I love to collaborate with all of them. I mean, they're all incredibly successful.
Yeah, Brandon is my mom's favorite artist. She
Oh,
loves The
really?
Killers so much. So great answer. I also want to bring it back to The Voice because I had that fan page, and I just have to say I personally think you're undeniably one of the best contestants from that show.
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
undebated, your performance of Dream On is what I would call like a pop culture moment or like a cultural reset. It was just
Oh,
I'll never
thank
forget
you.
watching it live for the first time. So looking back a decade later, what are some
Oh
memories or
my God, it's been a
experiences?
decade. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it has. What are some like experiences or memories from the show that have really stuck with you?
Well, obviously that one is the first one that comes to mind, the Dream On performance, just because it was such I had no idea that people were gonna react the way that they did. Like I was backstage nervous up until the second that I had to walk on stage. So I was just like trying to make sure that I didn't crack and making sure that like, I looked and sounded good. Um, so I was really sort of just blown away by the response, and everyone was so supportive, and the things that people were saying were so nice. And so that is a really lovely memory for me, and it's always nice hearing someone saying that was my favorite performance on the show,
Yeah.
um because it's one of my favorite songs, and it's actually one of the songs that I like wanted to perform from the very beginning, because we have to
Mm.
like submit songs and stuff, and that was one of the songs that I was like, I want to perform this song every week. That was on my list. So when I finally got to do it, I was just like, oh yes, like I'm doing something that I really enjoy and that I want to sing.
Yeah.
And in terms of like what I learned from the show, I would say that I learned to trust my gut. I learned that, in this business, there are always going to be people that have opinions about what it is that you do and what you sound like. And I just have to kind of trust my instincts and do what feels right for me, because everybody's going to always have an opinion, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
like the only opinion that matters in terms of me and my creativity at the end of the day is mine.
Boom.
So just, I need to just to trust that. And that was a big lesson for me, because I think growing up musically, I was always just like, oh, well, what do you think sounds good? And like, does this work? And, a bit of like not a people pleaser, but I was also always caring about like what other people thought and what other people thought would work or would sound good. And so that was a big lesson for me that I actually learned on that show. So yeah.
Final question. What do you hope fans take away from the From Here EP, and what is next for Amanda Brown's musical career as a whole?
What do I hope fans take away? I hope that people just connect to it. I hope that, if anybody is going through a breakup or is dealing with a tough relationship, can hear some of the songs on this and know that they're not alone, and that we all go through it, and that we all survive it, and that they're going to be okay. That there are always new experiences and new people and new things on the horizon, as long as you're open to them. And yeah, I hope people just can connect to this music, because I it helped me through a tough time. And I think that writing a lot of these songs helped me to like find my way out of some of those tough times. And so I hope that it does the same for people to listen to, or they just listen to it and they're like, I would put this on this playlist because I like it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I hope that is, what people think and feel when they listen to it. And in terms of on the horizon, obviously I'm going to be in Vegas. So come and see, Weekends with Adele. I'll be there. And then writing new music and recording new music, and just continuing to release new stuff. I'm going to be playing a show with We Found New Music. I don't know if you have heard of that, but it's like kind of like an artist showcase that I'm gonna be playing. It hasn't been announced yet, but I'm gonna be playing it on November 28th in West Hollywood. So I'll be sure to like post that on all of the socials. And yeah, I think just some more live performances in the new year, some more music, and that's what I'll be doing until I die. So
I love it. Keep doing it. Thank you so much for speaking with me today, and I'm sending nothing but positive energy your way. And
Thank you.
I'll be
So
sharing this
nice to
EP.
meet you and have a
You
chat.
too. Yes, I'll be sharing this EP with everyone.
Thank you
So
so
it will be on my
much.
Insta story. So
And
thank
let me
you
know
so
if
much.
you end up in Vegas.
Yes, hopefully we
Yes.
can hope. Thank you so
All
much.
right, of course. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye.